How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are here with a brand new series on the channel, another MLB The Show franchise mode. It will be with the Los Angeles Angels, but as you guys have been watching, hopefully, if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. But I've got an Oakland Athletics franchise mode that's been going okay, but I feel like I needed some help. The comment section, you guys have been great, and I want you guys to help me along the way, but it's not just me today. Today, I brought in some backup. I've brought in an assistant GM, somebody who's, well, had a lot more success in franchise mode, won the World Series with the Cleveland Guardians in his first season. It is a channel moderator. You guys know him as Thatcher Demko. I know him as Abby, and he's here to help us along the way. But before we get started, guys, make sure to subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 4,000 subscribers, the road to 4K. And guys, the summer's been a lot of fun. MLB The Show has been a ton of fun for me, and I hope it has for you too. And this series should be a lot of fun. It's just going to be a good time going back and forth with Abby. And can we get this video to 15 likes? It is the first episode of this series, and if you guys like the idea of me having some help, having somebody to talk to, or you guys can just have somebody to grow fond of like I have, go ahead and leave a like. But here we go, guys. Abby, what team are we doing and why are we doing them?
We are doing the Los Angeles Angels, and the Los Angeles Angels are an interesting team for multiple reasons. A, nice change from the Cleveland Guardians and the Oakland Angels. They actually have money to spend, $200 million before any sponsorships. Like, that's some serious spending cash.
Let's just put it in perspective here. We got 89.5 million is what I was working with the Athletics. You did an Athletics franchise mode too. And now we have 200 million, $110 million more to build a contender. Oh, and might I add, they also have the best player in baseball right now and one of the most exciting players in baseball in Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I've been using Shohei Ohtani in many of my franchise modes, and he's always a very fun player. Not just to stimulate with, forget playing with him. Playing with him is a blast as well. But just simulating with him, because he takes up a pitching position and you can throw him in your batting lineup. It's just so handy to have him around.
And I feel like this year's the year to do like an Angels save because of how they've adjusted the two-way player and the DH and how the MLB itself added the Ohtani rule.
Yeah, you even look at the intro to MLB The Show. It's Ohtani, right? This feels like this is Ohtani's game right here. And it's just watching the MLB and seeing how Ohtani was last year. I know he kind of ran out of gas there at the end, but he was incredible to watch on the mound and just absolutely crushing it in the batter's box as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do with him.
I mean, I don't know many players that can post above a 2.5 WAR, both pitching and hitting. Like he had a 5.4 WAR hitting, isolated power of 335, 117.6 runs created. Oh, might I add, he also had 10.77 strikeouts per nine, a 3.18 ERA, and a 1.09 WHIP. I mean, it's going to be fun to use him, but the problem with them, there's not a lot of depth on this team. Rafael Iglesias is a quality starter, a really, really good starter. Fantastic for him to have under 1.0 WHIP. That's what you want to see out of your closer. 1.6 WARs, actually more difficult than you'd think, especially with the bullpen not getting as many innings pitched. Syndergaard, one of my favorite players. I have his jersey, a Mets jersey of him. He's one of my favorite players. I love the sinker, the four-seam fastball. He's got a nice slider in there as well. A good player, missed most of last season due to injury. And then, another bullpen pitcher here in Aaron Loop. He's 34. His contract is $8.5 million. Abby, I know that's going to keep you up at night, knowing that we're paying a reliever $8.4 million.
and that's coming from someone who loves his relievers and loves to stack his relievers with
you love to stack relievers that make 70,000. Let's be real.
No, I pay my relievers. I pay them between $1 and $3 million generally. Okay. Outside of my one setup guy, my closer. But yeah, Aaron Loop is someone I'd look to replace sooner rather than later.
I mean, there's not a lot of relief pitchers, though, that are like in the mid 80s. Trust me, with the Athletics, I struggled. I'm doing a Reds. I can find those 76 to 78, but I can't find guys over an 80 that I can just acquire cheaply. But let's go ahead and get into it. You guys can see our owner goals there are to win the division every year and then at least reach the World Series once. It's winning the league pennant, so you got to make the World Series once, and I think that's going to be doable. I mean, having Ohtani and Trout is a great start, but Trout's only made the playoffs once in his 12-year career, which is why we're doing this. Like, come on, he's got to have some postseason success. Not saying his legacy is going to be tarnished. Still one of the best players in baseball, but man, I think I'm going to turn off GM contracts too. I think that would make it just a little bit more enjoyable. If I get fired after year 3, I think Abby would step in and, you know, guide this team to glory. I'm going to say I'm not going to be able to force trade, CPU trading. Yep. Everything looks good here. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to do auto scouting, but we're going to do manual, everything else. Coaching tasks. I almost want to set the lineups and rotations to auto and then do the manage.
We want to be careful with that, just because sometimes they'll send people down or use their options, right?
Not if we keep manager tasks, because you can see the 40-man roster and roster moves. If we keep a hold of those, we can let our manager do the coaching stuff. We can let the scouts do the scouting stuff, and we will actually do the general manager stuff, which is something that I think I kind of do anyway. I should probably look to do that in like my athletics one, because sometimes I'm just like, you guys just do it. When I trade for a player or make a lot of moves and half the lineup's missing, I'm like, I don't want to take all that time to do that. To reset everything. And I think we'll start in spring training, so we can get a little bit of a head start here as we load in, and you guys can see, we're in a division with the Reds, which should be good for us to get some confidence before the season starts. But going through the lineup again, let's go position by position. Now we got our starting rotation here of Ohtani, Syndergaard, but then it kind of falls off. We got Lorenzen. Patrick Sandoval is an interesting player, 25 years old, B potential 80. I don't know how to feel about him.
So I could see him as a number 4 or a number 5 for this season. I think this is kind of what we want to set for as a 2-year timeline here, just so we can kind of have some time to get rid of the older players outside of Trout, and get the replacements to a point where they'll grow a little bit. So someone like Syndergaard here will be an interesting one, because he's actually not too bad. I could see him as a very good number 2 or number 3.
He's only 29 too,
and only 29.
I think he's great, but he is making $21 million. I mean, I think I just kind of want to start there. I don't care about the players. We got to go through this again. I hate that every time. But I do kind of want to go through the budget and take a look at the salaries, current contracts. I mean, he's our 3rd highest paid player. Is he our 3rd best player? I'd probably say so.
No. Yeah, 3rd most important player.
Yeah, Anthony Rendon. Holy smokes.
Yeah, he's getting traded. I'm going to throw that out there. We're going to have to trade him away right away. That's an absolutely debilitating
great player, though. Like, look at those.
He is. But we can certainly get better.
I mean, money is not necessarily an issue, but we still have 25 million left, and we're already spending 159 about on player salaries. We'll check out the staff and we'll check out the scouts in a minute. But I think I got to agree. He's 31, 84. You know, he's not Trout. Trout, 9 years at 35.5. That is honestly, I'm going to say that's a steal. I think that's a steal.
Well, certainly, I'm happy to keep that for 4 or 5 years. No issue whatsoever.
4 or 5, I might keep him for all 9. I don't really foresee him dropping off so much where it just doesn't work anymore for us. You know, he's 99 overall with A potential, insane against righties, elite against lefties. He's going to get on base like a fiend. Okay, he can't bunt. Nobody can. Nobody does it anymore. A great fielder, maybe not your center fielder. He could play out in right. He's got amazing speed. He's a 5-tool player. He is the 5-tool player.
Those are incredible stats. Outside of vision, every single stat there is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, they had to nerf him somewhat, right? He can't be like a machine at the plate, even though he probably will be. Look, I don't know how I feel about paying Iglesias $14.5 million. I'm fine with it for a season or two, but we can definitely find a closer, because closers, especially in the draft, they're easy to find in high numbers.
I have a couple people we have in mind, even if we want to trade it this year. Again, I think we want to have a 2-year plan here, so we definitely want to make the playoffs this year. But I don't think we necessarily have to go for the World Series this year. We can kind of keep our home run, if you will, for the next year.
Yeah. I mean, we have to make it once in the next 3 years. We have to make the World Series once the next 3 years. Like you said, this first 2-year plan, we can probably win the division in both years. Are we going to be good enough to like make a sustained dynasty? I don't know, but we can at least make the postseason. I mean, right?
For sure. 100%.
My only question with Rendon is how many teams have the Orioles have the budget. Do they want to give us That's way close. I always gravitate towards Cedric Mullins at the very start. He's one of my favorites. It's not, I don't know why. He's another one of those 5-tool players who's not quite as elite as Trout, but you know, he's kind of got it all. The arm you wish was a little bit better, but we can keep moving through it here. I don't know where we want to go.
Cedric Mullins is someone I quite tend to gravitate towards as well, just because of his cap hit being very nice.
Mullins?
Yeah, Mullins.
Yeah, okay. Relief pitchers, okay. Bullpen, got an elite arm there in Loop. Ryan Tepera, how much is he making? $7 million for 2 seasons. Probably
I will
can
say
move.
both those are notably former Blue Jays. That's why they're such good relief pitchers,
Yeah,
of
there
course,
you go.
because we can't hang on to good relief pitchers outside of Jordan Romano.
And then we need to find some depth because it's these two guys, our closer, Raisel Iglesias, and that's about it. There's not really much else in the bullpen. No prospect bullpen. I mean, Jose Suarez, maybe, right? It's just the bullpen's barren. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
One thing I want to do after we go through all the positions is check out our prospects. Catcher wise, Max Stassi is our catcher. A good fielder. Wish his arm was a bit better. He's got some power. It's fine, right? Like it's not something I'm concerned about. Kurt Suzuki is our backup. I mean, listen, he's not a good fielder, better arm, pretty good hitter. So as a platoon catcher, I'm fine with it. Austin Romine, I don't know. Catchers are weird to address for me because they're just, I don't know. They just don't excite me because nothing about them screams elite hitting for the most part. Like there's like a few elite hitting catchers in the game and then the rest are, fielders and average hitters.
Yeah.
Jared Walsh, interesting player here. Not good against lefties, very good against righties. I shouldn't say he's not good against lefties. It's just that contact at 42 hurts. Batting clutch of 98. You'll love to see that. Decent fielder. He's a first baseman, though. I mean, he can play the outfield, too. He's got that A potential, but at 20, he's got the same picture as Trout.
Yeah. I'll say again, in my Guardians mode, he was spectacular. 37 home runs actually last year. So he can definitely grow. Has the ability to grow to 85 for sure.
It's not a position where we need to upgrade immediately.
No, and first base would tend to be hard to come by in the first place. Generally tend to be lower overall, so I think that's an area we actually might not have to address, which is quite nice, actually.
Second base, middle infield is definitely a place we need to address here. Matt Duffy at second, Anthony, and then shortstop 2. What are these splits? Like he's got amazing vision. He's got the bat of a wiffle bat, but he makes contact every time. Like I just don't understand this.
Yeah, dude just can't get it out of the infield, I guess.
And he's God. The contract, man. I'm looking at some of these contracts. Like, don't spend money just because you can.
You have to have a team first. Like these contracts are not good. These are the type of contracts I'd give out after I have everyone locked up for cheap contracts for years, and then you need to fill out your bench. This is not the position the Angels are in right now. They need to get their team together here in the first place to make sure Trout can make the playoffs.
So middle infield is definitely an area to improve. Matt Duffy he's just straight up not good enough at second base. His hitting stats make me feel better than David Fletcher. I mean, David Fletcher, good reaction, good fielder, average speed, but his hitting stats, I'm not in love with that. Tyler Wade, a great defensive backup shortstop. I'm fine with that. Andrew Velasquez here, not too, I don't think he's going to make the opening day roster, but Tyler Wade, fine backup.
One thing I will say about Fletcher is he is the quintessential number 9 hitter, a contact hitter with a reasonable amount of speed who can get on base for that big part of the lineup coming up. So if anything, that's a little silver lining.
Okay. Maybe I won't hate on David Fletcher as much, but then we got Brandon Marsh. Ooh.
Ouch.
Hold on. Yikes. So Joe Adell, I gravitate towards Joe Adell because he's 22 with A potential and he just needs to improve his hitting. I'm going to leave him down in AAA. I'm not going to rush him like I do in pretty much every save. But staying in the outfield, we got Brandon Marsh. Definitely need an upgrade there. I mean, his fielding's okay. You can get away with a worse fielder. I mean, 66, 66, 67, pretty adequate, I would say. Doesn't really fill me with a lot of happiness saying that we have an adequate outfielder. But I mean, he's playing next to Trout, who I might even say, like, let's throw him in right field. But again, the right fielder, Taylor Ward, good hitter. I mean, honestly, contact against lefties, power against righties, kind of guy like middle of the lineup. You can put every day kind of guy. But again, outfield is another area to improve for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Outfield and middle infield, plus then a couple of relievers and potentially maybe one starter as well, maybe 2. Are kind of our areas for improvement. And we have, like you said, we have 3 years to kind of get it together, but ideally we kind of want to have a good plan. And
I would like to make the playoffs once.
Yes.
I haven't made the playoffs yet in MLB The Show 22, and I'm sad.
Oh, no. Well, that's why I'm here.
That's why I called you in, man. Reed Detmers is our best prospect, I'd say. 22 years old, 68, left-handed pitcher, A potential, from Illinois. looks fine. Obviously
Yeah.
got some room for improvement, but
If you look at his top four or first four stats as well, the hits over 9, Ks over 9, walks over 9, home runs over 9, they're fairly uniform, which is nice. I know that home runs over 9 is a little bit lower, but generally, as long as those are close together, it means when you're training them in that category, they can stay together as well. So they're less likely to be lacking in one of those 4 categories, which is nice.
Right. And then Joe Adell is our next best prospect. Like I have mentioned him before. After that, you got Jose Suarez, who I mentioned out of the bullpen, Sam Bachman here, another starting pitcher. So it seems like we have quite a few starting pitchers with potential. Jeremiah Jackson and Errol Vera, right? We don't know if these guys are ever going to make it, right? 19 and 22 in the mid 60s with B potential. That could be like 82 potential, 81, even 80 potential, I think is a B. So we'll see about that. But I think we want to start making some moves. I don't know.
So first thing I like to do is fill out my AAA and AA teams, just because right now is the best time to get players for between 100 and 60K.
Okay.
So just looking at your depth here.
Do you want to look at the depth chart, or do you want to look at here?
That's fine. So right now you have no closing pitchers. So we should get you some closing pitchers, just because closing pitchers can also serve as relievers.
Yeah.
Both those relievers there look like single A level relievers, so we definitely want to get some people in there. Same thing with just relief pitchers as well. So look at that very first one right there, the very first one.
Hoyt Taylor.
73 overall. That's a perfect AAA reliever, and you want 70K. Perfect.
Roster's currently full.
Okay. So here's what I like to do here. We want to start looking for trades here for your worst players and package them together. Those guys don't look great, but this is what makes, I think, MLB The Show franchise mode the best franchise mode there is. You can package together players like this that are kind of whatever, and you can get a much better player. Now, probably not someone this good, but
you mean I'm not going to get John Means?
No, unfortunately not.
Rougned Odor, Adley Rutschman. No, we're not getting the best prospect in baseball. You want MLB ready, or are you thinking for a prospect package, or
I think just scroll. You don't even need to use the search finder. Just scroll all the way to the bottom and just start scrolling up. So let's look for someone here with a little bit of potential. Again, we're just trying to dump these guys, so we might not even get anyone particularly good. So you see the 23-year-old. We're not going to get a 20-year-old, but the 23-year-old might be able to swing. Let's see.
They want a little bit more.
Quite. Okay. Maybe even a C prospect then is fine. Anything up here we're not going to be able to get. So maybe the 58 at
Ryan Conroy, the relief pitcher.
Yep, that's perfectly fine. We're just trying to dump these contract slots, so that's perfectly fine, and we get a better player.
Yep.
So it's a win-win for us. We want to go to a different team just because these tend to load up. So, and it can become an issue when trading with teams as well. Just because then they have too many players, and you're trying to package players together to get one player, right?
Oh my God, the Twins have nobody.
60-20, a little bit too good. We want someone a little bit older.
Let's go to another team because they're definitely. They don't have anybody that I would even consider.
The 55 at 22 actually isn't too bad if you go down.
Oh.
Here
you go.
That's great. If you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, actually. Scroll all the way to the bottom and click the bottom player they have. Okay, good. So we're getting proper value for it. That's one of my tests I usually like to do to see if you're getting the best value you can. Pick the worst player on the other two sides thing and see if they're still accepted, then you aren't getting 100% value for it.
Gotcha. Let's go to the Blue Jays because let's get Andrew Vasquez. Yeah, that's what we want. Oh God, it's all D's down here. There's no C's. Oh, there it is. Sean Anderson. They're interested in that deal, but we
can do a little bit better than that.
I was gonna say I think we can go up a little bit. Oh, close. No. They're interested in Anthony K.
Anthony K is not the worst pitcher, but the idea here is just to store value in another player. So I think Anthony K might be the way to go here.
Trent Thornton?
Or Trent Thornton. Trent Thornton is older.
28.
If you go back down to Anthony K.
27.
Yeah, so I'd rather go with... actually, it's almost the same. Anthony K also makes a lot less money.
721,000. How much was... he's making a couple $100,000 less. We'll do that one. Why not?
Yep, sounds good.
Go to the bottom player. Are we getting... Yeah, we're getting fair value. Look at our budget. It's doing great.
Okay.
I'm not throwing him in there. He's one of those players we would just get rid of anyway.
What about Frasso? That's the relief pitcher?
Nah, they're not. They don't want that deal.
That's fine then. That's fine then.
We can get in. I don't want the F potential. Get the 19-year-old.
Okay. If I was doing this on my own, I'd like probably do it. But like honestly, we're just trying to free up contract slots right now. So, yeah.
All right. So we do have some more
perfect.
contract slots now. We should be good to go.
Yeah, we got 6 there, I believe.
Yes, I think you're right. Wow. Oh, everybody's in the MLB. I got really confused for a second. All right, so take a look at the free agent list. Trevor Rosenthal's a guy, but like Hoyt Taylor, he only wants to make 70,000 too.
Perfect.
Sounds
We're
good.
gonna need a couple more, so I think you can sign both those guys. Honestly, Sandoval and Wade. That'll take care of your AAA and your AA. Wade there, yeah, perfect.
Oh, Enrique Gomez is A potential.
I think Wade did as well. If you want to go back to
Wade had B.
Oh, what about Silva?
Gary Silva had A.
Okay, I think you signed Silva and the other guy.
And Gomez.
Yeah. If you want to go back to relief pitchers as well, I think there was a pretty good one.
Oh, another A. Julian Hughes. Do we want to sign all the A potential?
I mean, you can sign one more. After that, we're kind of going to start loading up.
Yeah.
Well, they can play as relief pitchers. Actually, you know what? They can double as relief pitchers. So I don't mind signing a closing pitchers because you can just stash them in the bullpen.
The 18-year-old or the 22-year-old?
Why not both?
Hughes or Reyes? They both have A potential.
Reyes is a little bit low. He's only 58 overall.
So Julian Hughes then?
Ideally you want to get over 60 overall just because then that makes them a little bit of a better fit for AA.
All right. And do we? I can edit them to be relief pitchers, so they actually use them as relief pitchers, or I can just keep them all as closers.
Honestly, the pitching rotation, they'll just throw them in the relief side anyway, so I wouldn't even worry about it.
They're all in AAA right now. We can adjust this eventually. Hoyt Taylor could actually be a guy we use in the majors. I mean, looking at our relief pitchers, he's up there.
Yeah.
Taking a look at free agents, though. Do we need some outfield? Michael Conforto.
So actually under Conforto, if you want to go to Rob Ryan, we can sign him for 70K-ish.
Yeah, he is young, 60K, 70K. Yeah, he looks pretty well-rounded, too. I'm fine with that.
Again, we have lots of depth issues, so these young players between kind of the mid-20s and younger, you can usually get extremely cheap.
Well, sign Seth Smith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Seth Smith sounds like the best player to go after. Roster's full. No, that filled up fast. So guys, we did a lot of moves. We completely changed around our entire system. I mean, we have some of the best prospects in baseball. I mean, we went out and we got some pretty good players. As you guys can see, we didn't go absolutely nuts. I don't know why we're ranked second. I don't think we're second. I think that's just because we have a really good system. And a lot of the guys in spring training right now are really good. We're first in contact, first in pitching, which I don't agree with. We didn't get any new starting pitchers for this season. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a long-term thing, but let's go ahead and show you guys some of what we did. We did kind of clear out the bottom here. There's not too many overpaid players down here at the bottom. Most people down here are making less than 100,000. Dylan Thomas, congratulations. You can make some money on my guy. And then after that, we get to some pretty cool players. So we'll start with the starting pitchers. I don't believe we got any starting pitchers. We signed some free agents. Nicholas Tejada is a guy we signed. Switch hitting starting pitcher, because that's what I'm looking for in my starting pitchers. I don't think anybody else here. We didn't get anybody of too big significance, right? Some of these guys are just AAA forever. We did get a new relief pitcher in Victor Arano. We signed him from free agency. Now the D potential scares me, but I mean at 80 overall already and only making.
Sorry, minor correction. I believe we traded for him.
No, I thought we signed him. I thought he was a free agent. We might have traded for him. Either way, we got him. He's got 8 contact versus righties. So what more could you ask for in a relief pitcher? Other than that, there's not too many exciting names here in the bullpen.
Fernandez we signed. Mitchell Fernandez.
We signed Mitchell Fernandez. Thank you. He's the Canadian. That's right. Closing pitchers, got a bunch of guys from free agency to fill out the system. If they ever become something, whoop-de-doo. Look back at this video as an absolute success. But I don't think these guys are going to make an impact on the future of our franchise. Going to the catchers, this is the big one. Best prospect in baseball, according to Fangraphs, Adley Rutschman. We went out and got him, traded a bunch of minor leaguers and kind of worked some stuff around for him. Nobody major went out, I should say. Nobody crazy has gone out. You guys can see we make we make quite a few trades. It won't even scroll anymore. We did a lot of things to make it so that we could trade 5 players in a deal to get somebody like Rutschman. Because they only let you do 3, so we had to work our way around it. But we do have Adley Rutschman, which I'm pretty excited about.
Absolutely. As Ryan said, Adley Rutschman's a great prospect, and the fact that we've been able to do this with virtually using almost no assets, just players making 6 figures in the minor leagues, is amazing. It's put us in a good position where we have people, and Spencer Torkelson too, as you can see here. Spencer Torkelson's an excellent prospect as well. It puts us in a position where we can trade someone like Samuel Reyes because now we have someone to proceed. Or if Walsh ends up becoming a beast, then Torkelson could be DH or even get traded for another asset. Which,
well, he
again,
also
is just
can play
setting us up
third
for
base
success.
too, which we didn't get any third base prospect. Okay, we got Luis Urias. Okay, kidding. We apparently got I forget how many good players we got, but we got a lot of them. So I don't know where we debated on where we wanted to play Urias this season.
Yeah, so my philosophy is if they aren't ready for a starting spot, you put them in AAA. Urias is kind of on that 79 overall threshold where he can play in the MLB or potentially can platoon. But I generally like to get my prospects to play as many games as possible. So I think that's generally what I'd like to do. Even if they're 80 overall, sometimes I'll shove them in AAA. So for Urias's development, it might be best for him to get as many games as possible. So I'd almost want to put him in AAA.
Well, don't forget, we're thinking about after spring training trading Anthony Rendon, finishing that up and moving on from him. I mean, could Urias play right away? Or are we going to go out and find a replacement third baseman so that Urias can stay in the minors and groom there?
I think that's definitely worth thinking about. I'd love for him to groom in AAA and not rush him, just because, again, we do have this year to kind of play with.
I mean, he's played in the majors for 4 seasons now.
That doesn't mean it was the right idea. Look at him. He's hitting 249, man. I don't know.
OPS of 789 last season. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. But I think one more year of fine-tuning will be good for him.
Yeah. We didn't do anything about second baseman. That's still a wasteland. I mean, I think we signed Drew Thomas from free agency, but again, he's not a long-term answer. Shortstop, more of the same. Didn't really go out and get anybody too crazy. I'm pretty sure Bruno Castaneda, we signed him in free agency. So again, one of those players that before you even touch anything, check free agency. Other than that, I mean, shortstop, the middle infield is another position. It is the spot where I think we need the most improvement. Left fielders looks rough. Signing Gary Law and him being better than Brandon Marsh right away is rough. Seth Smith's good there as well. You know, another guy, I think that we signed him as well. We signed a bunch of players. Lincoln Schultz, another guy that we signed. Going to center field, again, more of the same, just finding some guys that can fill out the system. Obviously, Mike Trout. I think we need another outfielder, I think. We got Rob Ryan, who, he's probably good enough to play in the majors. I'm not concerned at all with his potential growth. Leonardo Esposito. And then we got Zach Veen. We traded for him from the Rockies. So those are the big trades we made. Those are the guys. Rutschman, Torkelson, Zach Veen, and Urias are the guys we made the trades for. We still need a little bit of work. This is why I said, guys, when you saw the second overall, first in pitching, it's not really true, in my opinion. I think once we get to the regular season, we'll drop quite a bit. But it just shows you how good the future is now in Los Angeles. And, we have a big budget. That doesn't mean we should use a big budget.
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially this year, like when your team is set and you want to upgrade your bench, I think that's the time to start kind of dipping into your budget. But this year is going to be a year for us to set up the team. So I'm 100% on board with you, Rye.
Speaking of budget, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these contract extensions. And yes, the big one here, Shohei Ohtani. We have discussed what we wanted to do. We want to trade him away. No, I'm kidding. We want to give him a 14-year deal, get him till he's 41, not front-load it, back-load it, and cut the average annual value down as far as we can for him to accept it. We were thinking around $24 million a year, and I think $24 million a year for Shohei Ohtani is great. Is it a little cheesy to give him a 14-year deal, backload it, and say the rest of that is somebody else's problem? Maybe, but I just want to win a World Series, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. If he's going to say yes, I'm going to take it.
This is also very common practice in baseball in general to backload contracts so that they're really shit at the end. So
I mean, you saw Rendon's contract.
Yeah, so this is not out of character at all for the Angels GM.
Signing Shohei Ohtani till he's 41, maybe, is not great, but again, not my problem. Dude, imagine how much money he's going to be making when he's 41. Like, if we're giving him $340 million for 14 years.
Oh, you forgot the player option.
Yes, and the player option. There we go. Increase the value. We got to drop it down to 24 million a season there. There we go. That's nice, and that's a flat round number. I like that deal. What do you think? Should we offer it to him? Will he accept it?
I don't know if he'll accept it, but if he does, that's a great value for us, especially for the first 5 to 10 years. That's spectacular.
Decided to accept it, baby. That is clutch. That is huge.
Well, congrats, Mr. Ohtani, for securing the bag, and congrats to us for also securing the bag.
Yes, seriously. And then the next guy we wanted to talk about was Walsh, and I think we're going to do the 3-year, $2.8 million a year deal. I mean, that's just such a good deal.
That is insane value. But yeah, we don't need to backload this. I don't think we need to worry about that.
Okay.
We can just have it normal. Because this is just an incredible deal. Like, he's asking for 2.8, so even if we have to like go up to like 2.5, we're still getting incredible value. I'd go maybe like 2.2. I'm
gonna do 2.1.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Because I mean, that was about the interest that Ohtani accepted. So, sure. 3 years, 6.3. Increase the salary. Okay, what? Go to 6.7? You think?
Yep.
Looks good to him. Walsh is here on a 2.3, I think 2.3 is some around that what I gave him. And those are the only contracts we're gonna hand out for now. Urias, Sandoval, Syndergaard. We'll see how they do this season. We'll see what happens if we want to keep them, move on from them, trade them even. We'll see what happens there. But I think we are ready to get to the regular season. Actually, I don't think I want to change I don't think I want to change the coaches just yet. I mean, we got Joe Madden. He's a great head coach. Hitting coach is good. Cutter Capone's fine. And then these guys, we'll deal with them when their contracts come up, maybe in the offseason. Like I said, money's not necessarily an issue, but at the same time, I don't want to spend it just because I have it.
I agree. Our coaching staff, too, with the A's and the B's, would probably be close. If it's not considered top tier, it'd be considered very close to top tier, which is a nice bonus when trying to sign players.
And now the question is, do we want to double up on region? Do we want to say, screw the East? We're a West Coast team. I don't care about if he's coming from New York or New Jersey. I mean, they found Trout in New Jersey, I guess. But I feel like if we double up on the West, we get the close to home bonus too when we go to re-sign players. So I think if we sign another West scout, but there's not really a great West scout available.
Yeah, that's a little bit tough. I would defer to your judgment here, Ryan. As we've seen from the Oakland franchise, Ryan is a very good drafter. In fact, what we were joking about, I'm more the builder and developer. Ryan is builder and go for the playoffs guy, whereas Ryan's an amazing rebuilder, developer, and drafter.
I make great pipelines, but I think I rely too much on them as part of my problem. But anyway, I think I'll double up on the international here. I mean, he's the only other good scout. We'll check next season, but double up on international. We found Ohtani. He came here. Maybe we can get some more players like that, get some more storylines like that. But I think we are officially ready to get into the season now. And maybe trade away Anthony Rendon. I don't know. We'll get through spring training. You sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
Wins. I love wins.
That looks like a second-ranked team to me.
We finished second behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. Or
nice.
Is that just... No. Okay, yeah. I was like, is that alphabetic or no? It's not. We finished one game back, which is fine. Taking a look at the roster now, we have to set up our 40-man roster. Starting pitchers are going to be Ohtani, Syndergaard, Lorenzen, Sandoval, Canning.
Yeah, I definitely want Tejada playing in AAA.
Move to AA. Junk, AA. Wants, AA. Yeah, so probably Canning in MLB, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to add him to the 40-man. Moved MLB. That's fine. There we go. So that's our starting rotation this season. Ohtani, Syndergaard, Lorenzen, Sandoval, Canning. Relief pitchers, Loop, Tepera, Arano. Bring up Mitchell Fernandez for sure. Add him to the 40-man. Moved MLB. send down Mike Mayers?
You know what? I think we can. He's not going to grow, so I'm actually okay with keeping him at an MLB as a temporary measure. Ideally, I'd like to replace him sooner rather than later, but
right.
as a temporary measure, he'll be okay.
A lot of these guys aren't long-term solutions anyway, and especially with the bullpen, not necessarily too worried about it. We'll move him to Double A. There we go. So I think we're all set there. We only need to send down one more player. Probably Hoyt Taylor. Call him back up to the majors. Is it 73?
I'm okay with letting him grow in AAA as well. But it depends on how many roster spots we have. If we have a roster spot, we can bring him up, because right now we have the reliever, and then we have how many? We have the closer and how many relief pitchers?
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd like to have one more probably.
Sure,
we can do Wander Suero. We can call Wander up.
Yeah, either Wander or the other closer, no problem. Either or.
Hoyt Taylor, let's call him up. Let's see how he does. We got to add him to the 40 man. I don't think the 40 man's too big of an issue. We got to add him to. Okay, so we'll add him to the 40 man and then call him up to the majors. There we go. So we now are good in the bullpen. Looking at catchers, we're fine with Stassi and Suzuki, letting Rutschman play one more season in AAA, probably just to let him rake down there and just dominate.
Yep. Unless what we want to do maybe is switch Ronnie with
Romine.
Kurt Suzuki. Romine, pardon me.
Romine and Suzuki. I mean, Suzuki's a pretty good hitter as a backup catcher.
Sure. Okay. Then we can stick with Suzuki.
Romine's actually not too bad though, but I mean, Suzuki, he's 38. I wouldn't feel good about sending him down. He's 38. He's probably not gonna last much longer. Spencer Torkelson is in the majors. I think we can send him down probably.
Yes, AAA for sure. We definitely want it. And then by sending him down to AAA, what I'd like to do is send Reyes down to AA, just so he has more time, more games to play, kind of thing.
Oh,
and
I was one step ahead of you.
We can call ahead of him. Yeah, there you go. You're learning.
Hey, I like to do that myself. We will move him just straight to AA. Drew Thomas will have that time. Freddie Bradshaw is not worthy of coming up to the majors. No, I just don't think he's quite ready. I think Urias, you said you wanted to send him down to AAA?
Yes.
Okay.
If we trailer Rendon, then we'll see what we do with that. But yeah.
Jack Mayfield is up, and I'm fine with that. Samuel Reyes is actually a really good player, but he can really only play first, I think. Yeah, he can only play first. I'm wondering if we want to call up somebody else to be our, every other day kind of guy. Bruno can stay in AAA while Tyler Wade is in the majors. Again, Tyler Wade just gross. The bench isn't great, but I think I think it's fine with Tyler Wade and Jack Mayfield on the bench.
Yeah. Do we have an outfielder for defensive substitutions?
We got Brandon Marsh, Trout, and Swaggerty, who I think I'd rather have up Virgil Davino.
Yeah, I totally agree. Swaggerty should go down to maybe single A even.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, from the majors to single A, I'm gonna move him to double A. He's probably gonna be the best double A player. Sierra and Harrison can swap there, and then out in right field we've got Taylor Ward. Probably want to call up Rob Ryan and move Joe Adele to double A.
Yep,
Rob
perfect.
Ryan can be our add him to the 40 man, and I think we can call up one more player. So we got Rob Ryan and Taylor Ward, Trout and Davino, and then Brandon Marsh, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, 5 outfielders should be fine.
And then we probably need one more infielder. We have a backup catcher. We have 5 starting pitchers, 5 relievers, 2 closers, 2 third basemen, 1 second baseman, 1 first baseman. So we can call up maybe one of those second basemen I was talking about, a guy like Fred Bradshaw or even Drew Thomas.
Drew Thomas I'd rather play in AAA just because he has that B potential and he can grow. The C potential, though, I don't mind ruining a little bit.
We could, Sam Reyes, you want to keep him down there as well?
Yeah, I'd like to give them a chance to develop first.
Okay. Fred Bradshaw, welcome to the majors. And moved MLB. And okay. All right, so now we need to adjust our AAA and send like half of those players down. Unless we just trust them to do it for us. Lincoln Schultz should be probably playing in Class A.
So the good thing with this is moving between AAA and AA doesn't cost waiver slots.
Right.
So honestly, I don't even think we're going to care too much.
Yeah, I'll just let the AI decide what to do there. April, let's just advance a day. Advance to the regular season. They should have. Yep, they did adjust it. Sweet. So our MLB roster looks good. Starting pitchers, we know are Ohtani, Syndergaard, Lorenzen, Sandoval, Canning. In the bullpen, we got Loop, Tepera, Arano, Fernandez, Mayers, Iglesias, and Taylor. Stassi and Suzuki at catcher. Jared Walsh at first. Duffy and Bradshaw at second. Rendon and Mayfield at third. Fletcher and Tyler Wade at short. In the outfield, we got Brandon Marsh, Trout, Davino, and then Rob Ryan and Taylor Ward round out the outfield there. So that is our 40-man. Well, not our 40-man, but that is our Major League roster. Will it have a change? Let's see. Do you want to look what we could possibly get for Anthony Rendon, or would you like to use him for a year while we groom Urias and then move on from Rendon in the offseason?
How I see it is right now we want to maybe get a stopgap for Urias, or we don't even know if Urias is potentially the best option out there. We could see someone else we like even better, and potentially these two could be packaged together to get something like that. Let's see what's out there.
Okay, so looking at the third baseman, I mean, that's close with Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman looks a perfect stopgap because if you look at his cap hit, it's only for 2 years. Yep. And it's for a fairly reasonable $12.5 million for someone of his caliber. Looks like a good target to me.
We know the Blue Jays are interested. We'll keep looking there. Yohan Moncada could be a guy to go after. 76. I mean, not as good. Gio Urshela, probably not. Bregman,
he's an
not
okay
going to get it.
Gio Urshela, not Bregman, of course.
Eugenio Suarez could be a guy to go after. Wow, he's got no contact. Never mind. I'm not going after that. Oh my God. Austin Riley, super duper good. Good for the Braves. Brian Anderson. Wow, we are really close to getting a guy like Brian Anderson, but
not a great hitter.
Yeah, would you almost rather? I think I'd almost rather go with the earlier trade we had with the Blue Jays. Alec Bohm from the Phillies, pretty close. Good contact guy, not a lot of power, not a great fielder either. Patrick Wisdom, signed for 1 year. They want more. I mean, he's got a ridiculous bomber, great fielder at third base. I still think the Blue Jays trade is the better of the deals. Mike Moustakas, sorry Reds. Villar, probably not. Brian Hayes, yeah, it's way too much value.
Too much value.
Nolan
really
Arenado,
like the Chapman trade just because of the value as well.
Yeah. Buddy Kendi, wow, that actually looks like a pretty good player. Ryan McMahon,
ooh,
that's close. 6-year contract though.
What's his cap hit?
Gonna keep going up too. I still think I like that Blue Jays deal a lot. I really do. Budgetary constraints there with the Giants. Evan Longoria, probably not the guy I want to go after. I mean,
it's pretty good, but he is a fairly high cap hit compared to Chapman.
Yeah, I like the Blue Jays deal. Matt Chapman, that's really close. And what are they? They're not seeking anything. The Blue Jays think they have the perfect team. Well, good for you, Blue Jays. I don't want to give up too many relief pitchers. They're interested in this deal.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
I'm down with this.
Yep.
Rendon, Hernandez, and Conroy for Matt Chapman. The deal is done. Good deal. Perfect. And I'm very happy with that deal a lot because Matt Chapman, 12.5. That's great. I think that's a fantastic. I mean, look at his fielding too. He can play first as well. So, we got some options. Great acquisition there.
Yeah, and I think with a weaker pitching staff, it's important to have good fielders so you're not giving up more unearned runs than you need to.
We do need to sign a relief pitcher, though. Maybe somebody who's not super old. Hunter Wood? No.
Honestly, I don't mind going with someone older here because if we're going to sign them for a year or two, we'll sign him for the minors if you want, but yeah.
I mean, we didn't give up any major league relievers is what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that works.
Honestly, the bullpen looks pretty good. All things considered, I'm pretty happy with it. This is the first time I think I've seen multiple 80s in my bullpen in the show 22. How are they going to use Ohtani? Can they actually manage to use Ohtani like smartly? Please, Ohtani, where Donde? Is he playing in the outfield?
I don't see him. Switch to non-DH maybe? Just for a sec.
There he is. Well, he's here, but... Is it because he's our ace? Let's actually, let me flip-flop the pitching rotation real quick. And then check the lineups. There he is. Yep, they have him as an outfielder now. So if I move him as the DH here, instead of Rob Ryan. Oh, God. Holy smokes, he's got power galore. Probably a better hitter than Chapman.
I think kind of the 5 is a good spot just because some of the higher contact is what you want.
Right.
You definitely want Walsh high in the lineup against righties.
Well, we're going to let them auto set the lineup. So, I mean, I don't know how much this is going to make an impact. David Fletcher cannot hit whatsoever. Kurt Suzuki, yeah. Why is Suzuki our catcher? I mean, against lefties, he's a pretty good hitter. But
they're sacrificing a lot there for hitting.
Right. I think I'm going to flip-flop that because Stassi's probably in there. Yep, there he is. He's in there. So Ohtani, Taylor Ward against lefties. Yeah, we're against lefties. Ohtani is very good. A lot of power there, but Walsh, so good. Against righties, really. And then there's Trout. Yeah, obviously there's Trout. But we do have it on auto, so we're going to let them do it. But we are ready to start the regular season. Let's get into a month. We've done a lot of trading. It's been a long episode so far, but let's get about a month into the season. Or should we call it right there? I don't know.
Up to you. Looking at our ranking grade, I'm actually quite happy. We're ranked 7th, doing very well in everything minus power. So that's, I think
which is surprising to me because I feel like we have a lot of power.
Yeah, right? Ohtani, Trout,
Yeah. I mean, I guess getting rid of Rendon doesn't help.
Yeah.
Power, yeah, like sort by power. Yeah, I guess it does kind of fall off, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not a ton of great power in our lineup here. So, in the majors anyway. But, you know what? That was a lot. I think I'm going to call it there. It was a lot of fun to have Abby on this. He's going to be on for every episode, guys. So, if you like it, make sure to leave a like on this episode. If you guys want to see some more, make sure to subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
This a free for all before we fall. This a free for all